Are you?
Good. Sorry to be a couple minutes behind. I was having some issues with my web browser. I needed a direct link to the Zoom, so I was being slow. All right. So yeah, good to see everybody. We got a good crew here.
Yes. Everyone is excited. People struggle with the exercise number 1. How did you find
This
it?
one? I
Yeah.
thought this was pretty straightforward. I thought it was just once you realize there's no like direct win, it's not too hard. I thought you just stick the king on f2, and because I want to play rook e6, but I don't want to get hit with f2. And if I play king f2, like I just have no clue what black's next move is.
If king f2, he takes on b4.
Okay, and so then rook e6, is he not just checkmated?
It gets very complicated. We're going to see it. So if king f2, c takes b4, and rook takes on e6, and here black only has one move to survive.
I didn't see it, so I got this wrong, I guess. But...
Very difficult to see. Queen a6.
You're threatening a2. Clever.
So he's threatening on a2, and the idea sort of king has the b7 square, so if anything.
Hang on, I'm not sure I follow. What happens after queen g7?
Queen g7, I'm thinking...
Oh, you take a2 and take f4, I guess? Oh yeah, that's clever. And then queen takes c4 check. But even then, is it so? I mean, you have to play rook f4. There's no other move. But like,
now we take here.
This one I wasn't sure. Now rook e4 wins because I have.
Made on f8. Made on f8.
So you gotta go like
this one, yeah.
But now queen g3 and you lose.
Rook takes c4.
King f3. And you'll run out of checks. Queen h1, king f2. This much I did calculate.
So here.
Yes, and now queen h5. Queen h5, king e2. There's rook g4. That's nice.
And here.
Okay, but even still, king e3, no checks. And lost. Not very friendly, Renier.
No, not very friendly, but any complaints? This one is boss idea, yeah. It's
yeah, so there's rook c5 there, but you run out after king e2.
Yeah, so there's got to be something here around here because
rook c4.
So rook c4.
Yeah, here I could get myself muted if I'm not careful, I guess.
What happens on king f3? I'm not seeing.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I didn't see queen. I mean, I saw queen a6, but like I just didn't think it worked, and I just didn't really believe it. I calculated a couple simple lines.
I think we're gonna go and ask quickly, see what is what, and okay. So here, yeah, queen takes on h2,
and then
queen g3, rook c4, and on king f3, yeah, it just wants to trade queens. Only move here.
And then bc3.
And bc3.
That makes sense. And here black is yeah, that's too many pawns. This is what I missed.
Yeah, no, it's very logical, and that was my move when I tried to solve the exercise as well. Like I could king f2. Why not king f2? The answer here was rook e6.
What happens after f2?
After f2, king takes f2.
Queen h1.
Correct. Queen h1 is critical.
Yeah, this is where I wasn't sure about this.
Yes, and here you have this move. But this is rook to g8, rook to g6.
And if I take it, is this so clean? Queen f8. That is
queen f8 is made.
That is a key detail. I'm still not sure I follow though. What if rook e8?
Rook e3. And
then I take it, and then rook g8 is made. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not made. How do you actually win here?
I suppose we first give this check, no? Rook g8.
I probably have to play rook e8, right?
Probably.
Check.
And now where is the best check? Because I want to defend h2 also.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're just.
No,
static.
maybe I just played this, no?
Okay, but are you gonna win this rook endgame after CB4 at the end?
Probably trade the queens here.
Ah, that's a good one. Not better than G2. Yeah, this one you may win. Yeah, this one you'll win. All right.
Okay,
enough.
this was definitely not the first exercise. But you know, like rook e6, of course, queen h f2 and queen h1 is what makes most sense here. This is definitely critical line. Because if rook takes f4, there is nothing, right? Rook takes f4, you can just go anywhere. King g3 or king g1 and nothing is happening.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Black to
This
play
one.
on this one, yeah.
This one's just queen G1, right?
Correct. Queen g1, rook d8,
And rook C8 and mate.
and rook c8, and resign.
That's
Oh,
easy.
yeah, there is not much else I can try. This one,
She takes F5.
and nothing else. You gotta wonder why a 26-22 Grandmaster does not play this move.
It's a candidate move. I don't know.
Took on b2 and the game went long for 78 moves. But okay, so here bishop h5 takes on e4, rook g1, nothing, king h8.
Rook h1, right?
Yeah, rook h1 and
Captures.
take.
We're going too fast. I feel like we're going to finish this in 10 minutes.
I think we're gonna have a lot of talk in the following. This one, actually, these ones were sort of easier.
This one's 98, right?
98, rook e8,
Queen f6,
king h6.
and queen f4.
Many wins here, but this is the most straightforward. Queen f4, king h5, g4.
You made, yeah. King queen g3, h4, queen f4.
That's your way. Okay, so here.
Or queen h4, queen f4, queen f7, take the rook.
Yeah. So here, I have this g5 here and here, but okay. What's
king h5, rook g1 is fine.
King h5, rook g1.
No.
This one.
Rook c8.
Yes, a lot of people fail to find this one. There is a great distraction on the king side, but there is nothing there. Eh?
Yeah, rook e3 was a little tempting, but I didn't think it was that great.
Because rook e3, black can play like king f2 or whatever. Yeah, king f2, and now this happens. So rook c8, and
White's losing his pawns, right?
Bishop e4, you have rook c4, and black wins all the pawns.
Yeah. This was fun.
This one, yeah.
So it's just knight fb2, knight g3, and mate, right?
Correct. Check. Here, check.
I didn't think this was easy, Arshia. This one took me a little bit. Once I saw it, obviously I knew it's right, but it took me a second.
It's been a while since I see this mate, and it was not. I think since the YouTube of games, the YouTube of books, I hadn't seen this motive. Okay, so here.
G2 and knight c4.
Correct. So here we want to play knight c4. So this is bishop takes on g2, bishop takes g2, knight c4, king c2, take, and in the end we have
e5. Yeah.
e5.
How good is this for black? Actually, I was curious. If white plays king e3, I wasn't sure what was that much better.
It's just better, but not winning a straightforward or anything.
You have to take on d4, and then I go e takes cd4, and we play d5, d6. I wasn't even sure if black was better. I mean, you're a pawn down for nothing if you don't go for this, so like you have to try. But looking at this, I really didn't. I wasn't sure.
Can we play f5 in this position?
You can, and you probably should. But say I go d5.
So we play here, and I guess we go this.
Yeah, sure. King d3.
You go to d3. Okay. So this is
No,
this is not so clear, no?
not at all. I mean, it's clear you have to try it, but because everything else totally sucks. But this one, I wasn't even sure if black is better.
Probably we need to go like rook h7, rook h8, and try to take on h2.
Okay, if you'll have fun.
Yeah,
Rook h7, I'll play d6.
and if we go here,
Okay, bishop d5, let's say. If rook h2, I suspect even just taking the rook and bishop e6 should be a pretty easy draw.
yeah.
And you also have to worry about bishop e6, b5. Like it's, I
Yeah.
wasn't at all convinced that black is better.
No, it's not trivial for sure, not at all. But there are no better moves.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't do this, you're just a pawn down, so you should do it.
In the game, play this bishop d5, and after knight b5, white is just winning.
Yeah, sure.
So Tyler is asking, can you go slow on problem 9? Sure, but we are not yet on problem 9. Let us know.
This one, I think we can take e6.
And after rook takes on d3.
Take f8, and then we should be mating on h6. If I'm
Correct.
honest.
So one of the mistakes people made in this line was not saying knight takes f8, which is the key move. Because if we take here, black can take on e6. And he's taking on f2 with the queen next, and nothing is happening. So remember that recaptures are not automatic, and here we have this.
I thought here the whole point was that knight f5 is tempting and doesn't actually work.
In the beginning, you mean?
Yeah, it doesn't work, I don't think. Because I was thinking about this at first a little bit. Rook d3 and knight h6, but then it occurred to me here that actually say rook d1 and then king h2, I think black can just take f2 and run. Knight f7 is not actually mate.
And the king just escapes on e8, yeah? Knight f7, king g8, nothing happens.
Yeah.
This is a nice line here. Yeah, so Tyler, you have any questions here? What was your doubt? 96, rook d3, we eliminate this defender here on f8. Now after rook d1, king h2, we're threatening queen h6, mate on g7. And black can try this, but we enter anyway with queen g5.
Yeah.
Okay, we are moving on.
So I wanted to play rook d6.
All right. And after king h7.
Hadn't considered that, but I think looks like it should lose. So say I go, yeah, sure. She says rook d7. That looks pretty sensible.
King h6.
Wow, there's a detail I'm seeing now. That might actually save it. No, my plan here was to play queen e3, g5, and then rook back to d6, but I missed there is queen c2 and bishop c6.
It's actually, yeah, it's actually here. The line I have goes like this.
And rook d6, you have queen c2 and bishop c6 is important.
And here, and bishop c6. I think you can take and play rook e6.
Oh, okay. So that wins. So then what's the problem with my line?
The problem is f4 and bishop g6.
Wait, f4 and rook f6 check, you just move the king, yeah? Get away.
And then on the next move, black is playing bishop g6, like.
Yeah, now I lose. Okay, this one.
Now is probably going to.
I missed king h7. I'm still not even sure I fully get the point of it. Just running the king away, like.
Yeah, in the game, like this was what happened in the game, and black went h4. I think the idea is just to run with the king and not get mated.
So, and if I take on f6, you have queen c2 and then bishop d5, yeah?
Was wondering now, what if rook f6 immediately?
And rook d8, right?
Oh, rook d8. Rook d8, sorry. Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Tough one. So solution is c5.
What? No,
The
you just
po-
want the c4 square?
Yes.
No, Sam Sir did not get it. Sam Sir wanted rook d6.
So after bc5, it's very important to play queen c4 check, not queen b3, because you're gonna need the bishop. And then after king h7, rook d7 check. And after this, we can take on f6.
Oh, and you have the c2 square covered. How nice.
And we're threatening rook h7.
Yeah.
And also, like, not only you can give the check, but also rook d7 right away should win, I think, because queen c4 is coming, and the king cannot.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cannot run.
So Simon, after rook e4, I think queen e4 is saving it.
Yes, correct. That's a very important line to this exercise. Rook takes e4, queen takes e4 is the one that is saving.
Centralized. For example, after queen f6, we can go queen f4 check, and this should be fine.
Yes, or even queen e2 and take on c4 with check. There are multiple ways of making a perpetual. Also, that after a quiet move like rook e7.
Really? Just give him g6, I don't care. Funny.
So queen g6, let's say king f8.
Well, it's better than rook g7, so yeah, let's say king f8. But yeah, it's there. It's sort of weird, but I didn't consider rook e7 at all, but just the check spin captures were fine for black, I thought.
Okay, let's keep going.
This one is fun. Takey.
So you want to take on g7?
Oh, I meant knight takes f7. Okay, rook g3, and then it's gone, right?
Yes, king f6.
Knight g4 and knight h6.
And knight h6. Yeah. Sam, I get some answers where our students were like here taking the perpetual. What do you have to say? Say something. Feedback.
You should never make a perpetual check with time on your clock. If you see you have a perpetual check available, just burn all your time, because one of two things is going to happen. One is there's nothing better than the perpetual. You make the perpetual and you don't need the time anyway. And two is you might realize there could be something there. And I think if you burn all your time here and just look for candidate moves, you don't even have to burn that much, and you find this was made, and king h8 and knight f7.
And knight f7. There is a little bit more actually. It's like not made, but you win like everything.
Win everything.
Right? Yeah, like here.
Queen g7, rook g7.
Something like
some gross amount of material.
We are up a lot of material, right?
Yeah. It's honestly a little surprising black even gets that far. But
yeah, it's surprising. It's like a lot of price for this bad position.
But honestly, I don't get it. You're saying, but people are saying couldn't find the continuation after knight h6, king h8. After queen g7, rook g3, black can play king h8 there as well. So you must have calculated this too, and then it's just the same thing, right?
It's the same thing, exactly. Like I had some answers were king f8, king h8, knight f7 winning, but then king f6, knight g4, and knight e5 perpetual. Which
no
was
bueno, guys, no bueno.
All right. Okay, this one
was fun. I mean, it's obvious what the first couple moves are, but after that it gets fun. So I like rook e8, and then d7, d7, and queen takes, and bishop d5, and he struggles to defend g6. I think his only move is king f8.
Correct.
And here I think absolutely everything wins, but I really, really liked King F1, which I think is just suit swung. You don't have a move.
Oh, this one.
You just can't, yeah, there's no move.
There is not one single move he can
Nope,
make with
not
the
a move.
rook.
Zero moves. That's why I play King F1 to not give you E2.
Tyler is
Tyler,
asking.
if A6, probably Queen B6 is easy enough.
Oh yeah.
But there's another line too, actually. After A6, I can go potentially Queen H8, Rook E1, and Queen F6 and take B6 there. Basically, it will all fall at some point, like the pawns just drop.
So here, yeah.
There's
This
just
is what in the game. White did not play this. Anything wins here.
Yeah.
This King F1 is quite nice. It's really nice because nothing to think. No, it's
Yeah,
like
no moves.
no moves, nothing to think. Okay. What mistakes people made here? People were thinking about this position where taking on F5.
Oh no, come on.
No way, right? Because the target on F7 is very clear, no? And we want to play Bishop D5. King is so weak.
So guys, this is actually important. It's something I wrote about in Small Steps too, is that whenever you have a far advanced passed pawn in the middle game, usually the best thing you can do is make unrelated threats to the opponent's king, and that will stretch his defenses. So here we're seeing that example, is that in order to babysit this passed d pawn, black has to let his king get slaughtered. And so trading the queens is not helpful. Also, when you trade the queens with a centralized passed pawn, all of a sudden the enemy king can be a good defender. Well, here it will not be.
Correct. This is actually just to show an example of a line here. People wanted to play like this, take, and then something like Rook E7, but you know, the king comes and to F6 and the pawn will be lost. And it doesn't matter if you play Bishop D5, the knight will eventually untangle for knight 5, A6, B5, and it's gone. Okay, was very insightful. Let's move on. And now we are on page 3 now.
Okay, so we take F6. I think this is very straightforward.
Bishop takes D3.
F6, E7. What was your score in page 3? I don't know, Arshia. We'll have to see. I got 5 out of 6 on both 1 and 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Queen E7, and now we just take here, no?
Yeah, this should be totally winning.
It is. It is.
Like, I've seen versions of this in this line in the Russian system of the Grunfeld, like I recommended for Chessable, where white is better when he's like 2 or 3 pawns down, and with like here, just forget it.
Okay, so just to give an example to our students to make it clear, because we had some various answers, Queen E2, Queen B5. How would you put the pieces more or less after?
Okay, let's start with Bishop E3, stop any hope of D4. Then we can anchor the bishop on D4 and play like knight D2, and then, I mean, there's just no, so basically like, guys, what, or bishop A3, there's, okay, I didn't even see that, but that's probably fine. Just in general, the big strength, whenever you're talking about a situation where one side has a higher quantity of pieces and the other side has a higher quality of pieces. So here what we see is white has just more pieces of wood on the chessboard, while black has the biggest piece. The thing that the big piece does really, really well is attack multiple weaknesses at once on all sides of the board that you will struggle to keep them all defended. And so here, because white has no weaknesses, the queen is not substantially effective. And the thing that a lot of small pieces can do is they can all target one weakness. So it's not that hard, for example, for white to organize his pieces, bishop E3, bishop D4, then we'll go like rook D1, knight D2, knight F1, knight E3, rook D2, other rook to D1, bishop E2, bishop F3. It will be extremely easy to put something like 6 pieces on the D5 pawn, way more than black can put defending it, and then we will take it. And then we will do the same procedure with one of black's other pawns. And so the whole point here is like, if the situation changed and White's like B3 pawn was dragged to A3 and his G2 pawn was dragged to F3, and all of a sudden he has weaknesses all over the board and the queen can pressure both sides, it wouldn't be nearly as clean. But here I think it's totally over.
Thank you, Sam. Very, very clear explain. That's always a pleasure to hear you, by the way. Let's move on.
Yeah. This one we should play bishop G5, I thought.
Okay, bishop G5 is the right move. However, lots of people, and I have to say, big majority here wants to play rook C7.
Yeah, I considered this, but I wasn't sure the rook really did that much, and so we go queen b4 and tempo this when I don't have the f4 square for my queen in response, and then I can play bishop d8 or something. I wasn't thrilled with it.
Correct. That's the only good response Black has against rook c7. That's why I guess it makes it so difficult, because no one's really considered queen b4. But we can see the first things first. No, first we attack the darker squares with the bishop. Yeah. We trade. Then we get this very nice knight.
Yeah, basically here my thought was, I will go rook c7 and rook c1, and if you ever take on g5 and I go queen g5, you're just, whenever you castle, I will always just g4 you in the face. And so if you're not going to castle here, I don't think you're going to survive.
It's very, very important to for all of the students to this what Sam said, that whenever you castle, white will play g4 is something that, yeah, is always there, is thematic. And I actually have a, these computer lines which black barely holds. I think in practice it would be terrible to play this with black. But I just want to show everyone some of these. And here white can play queen f6. So let's say castle.
G4.
Computer wants to play rook c7 first, but
sure, that's probably better. This way, no rook c8. So rook c7.
So after queen a4, rook d3 comes.
Yeah.
And only after rook a c8, here comes the show with g4.
Computer just gives a rook.
And it's quite after this.
Yeah, should be mate.
So there is one only way, which, okay, the line is relevant because it's very computer move, but just shows the ideas of attacking these positions. And okay, we take on f8.
Sure. I didn't. Tyler, how much of this are we expected to find? Not that much. Like
nothing. I would say bishop.
I mean, I didn't even seriously consider queen d3. I thought I will just go rook d1 and rook c7, and that's the end. I mean, apparently, I'm not even sure why queen f6 is a better move than rook c7 here, honestly.
It's just yeah. This is in the game. Rook c7 was played.
I thought you said they played rook c7 instead of bishop g5.
No. In the game, bishop g5 was played, but in the
here, like queen f6 is some weird computer stuff. But after queen a3, rook c7, I just don't see black's next move, and it just feels like we can easily bring the pieces. We're already threatening knight b5. Rook dc1 can come next, and we always have g4 whenever black castles. So it looks totally hopeless to me.
We'll probably go like queen a4, right? Queen e7 is bad probably because you take on b7 perhaps.
Sure, and then you cannot.
Maybe even queen f4.
Queen e7, even just rook takes b7 directly, so that you cannot coordinate and trade stuff, is probably totally winning too.
Okay.
Like, I think everything probably wins.
No, but so I think.
But sure, say queen e7, queen f4. Like I think this is totally gone as well.
Yeah, I agree here. I think black has to play queen a4 after this and try to survive it. Nothing more. But again, I think what's most important to understand is the urgency here on bishop g5 and attack the darker squares, ignore the d3 pawn and get this bishop trades first.
Sure. Okay, this one I wanted to play h6.
h6, and after bishop takes a6, I guess is the only thing to calculate.
Then yeah, take and rook b2, and it's very important that on knight d2 there is knight f5. Other than once you see that, we're done here.
Yes.
Without knight f5, you'd get checkmated, but here you just win.
Correct. Can you tell us a little bit about h6 move? No, well, basically, let's do it the other way. Like, for example, very popular answer this week was d5.
Yeah, but now all of your pieces are permanently stuck. Like, you cannot kick the bishop off of g5 with h6, so this bishop is here forever. You cannot play f6 because the e6 bishop is loose. You cannot move your queen because the e7 knight is loose. You cannot move your f8 rook. Like, basically none of your pieces move.
Correct. So here there were some lines given, but after b3, white is just better. Just release the pressure on b2, and he can develop the pieces.
Yeah, queen f4, knight d2, knight f3. Just, I mean, it looks absolutely horrible. So basically here I thought I wanted to take on e5. I don't think it doesn't quite work. Like bishop e5, there's no funny business. Rook e5, and I couldn't find any funny business on the back rank here. Bishop b3 is not working. So like, bishop b3, there's actually a very funny line. Bishop takes b3. And then, well, rook takes b3. I guess you can just go bishop d8. But for some reason, I don't know why, but I was thinking about knight d2 for absolutely no reason at all. Okay. But no, none of that stuff works. And basically, like, the way you want to release the pressure is to take the e5 pawn or kick the g5 bishop away. And it's just Shankland rule. I really want to kick this bishop off of g5. The move you want to play is h6, so it looks like you cannot do it because the pawn is hanging, but the first question you should always ask is what happens if I do it anyway?
That's correct. If bishop h4, just in case anyone is asking, we play g5. Okay, we should move on.
Yeah.
This one
I thought we should go bishop c8.
Bishop c8, and that is correct.
Improve the worst place piece. There's not much else to do. It's not like you can do anything proactive just yet.
Sam, students, by far the most popular move in this position was f takes on e4.
Yeah. Why do we need to release the tension so soon? Why do we let white's bishop come to e6?
Yes.
There's no need to rush with this move at all.
So exactly. So it's very hard to explain with variations, because here we can maneuver with the pieces. We can play bishop c8, knight f6, or bishop c8, queen h4. So many things.
You can play f takes e4 whenever you want to, but the problem is for white that he has no active moves and no active plan that he can do. And the big reason behind that is that the d7 knight is so secure. White would very much like to play b takes c5 and force you to take back with one of your pawns, but because you can take back with the knight, that doesn't help him at all. And as soon as you play f takes e4, or f4 for that matter, this allows bishop g4 to destabilize your knight on d7, and that means that b takes c5 will come, and then all of a sudden white is getting counterplay. But if you hang tight, you can start with moves like bishop c8, and then eventually look for maybe fe4 or f4 later on. And then so for example here, like a typical King's Indian motif would be that you only want to play f4 once white has played f3, because then you don't worry about the g4 square anymore. And so for example here, now you have all the time in the world to just go g5, king h8, h5, rook g8, leave the knight on d7 for as long as possible. And then once you have everything absolutely ready and you can't improve your position any further, then and only then you play knight f6. He goes bc5, you go bc5 back, and then you win the race by like 6 tempi. But if you move the knight too soon, then all of a sudden they get counterplay. So it felt like bishop c8 was so much more patient.
That's correct. Yeah, and this is what happened in the game. Would we consider knight f6 to pressure on e4, or the knight needs to?
You have to be careful about the f5 pawn hanging. So Tyler, I guess what I would say is knight f6 is part of your plan, but there's two parts here. One is it's very important to understand which moves are part of your plan, and then it's very important to understand in what order you play those moves. And knight f6 should be the last move, because when you play knight f6, white starts his counterplay with b takes c5. So basically, like, you want to make all the improving, as long as white is stuck and unable to improve his position, you want to make all the improving moves you can before playing knight f6.
That's correct. So, okay, in the game, bishop c8 was played, and after bishop f3, white, black started to attack on the king side with queen h4 and knight f6, and it went really bad. But yeah, that's the key here. One more question about this position. So a lot of people here also wanted to play like something like c takes b4. Then after pawn takes b4,
probably like lost now.
take on e4 and play with against the queen side, like here.
No, come on, this is not how we play chess.
Okay.
Also, even here after fe4, like, is c5 illegal? I would already be worried that I'm just going to lose to this move if I'm not careful.
Like c5, yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, looks very interesting.
Bishop d5 is d6 and gone, right?
Yes, bishop d5 doesn't work because c takes d6. So let's
you're
say we
going
have to
take a bunch of times on c5 one way or another, and like.
But then I have this pawn on d5 that it could be very annoying. No, you can even play.
So say I go knight takes c5 and then take and bishop c4. Okay, you want to take that one, and now you just lose to d6.
Yeah, d6 is lost.
So you have to take with the pawn, and then let's say I go bishop c4, threatening d6, and you cannot play queen d6. No, you can't play queen d6. But then, like, I don't know, rook e1 or rook b3 or something. It's obviously counterplay. Even just queen takes e4, rook f4, and queen back somewhere. Like, this is completely unconvincing, and I would almost prefer white.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. We are going really, really fast, and I think the last one is this is thing number. What is this? Almost the last one. Okay, so here, what to play with black?
Choppy.
Are you sure? Rook takes on e3.
Yes,
not even a second thought, yeah. And
queen e8.
And queen e8. Yeah.
And queen e5 and rook e8 and h5 and h4 and counterplay.
Correct. So this is the way.
This is just very thematic stuff. You see it all the time in Fianchetto Benoni. And also, if you don't take, I mean, I'm not even sure taking e3 is that amazing, but if you don't take on e3, if you let white move this bishop, you have absolutely no counterplay in a completely horrible position.
That's a very important point. I think that's the important point in this position, that you have all these bad pieces and white can move the bishop and then play a3 and b4 and it's gonna crush you, no? So,
yes,
you have to do something.
Yeah,
like
there were so much counterplay, and
there were all kinds of ideas here, like c6, but white never does anything with this pawn on c6. We just prepare a3 and b4 and.
So yeah, c6, just like dc6, you take back, I guess, with the pawn, but like, no, bishop f4 or bishop h6 or something to stop the threat, and then you can go a3, b4, you can double the rooks on the d file. You also could have gone like bishop c1 to b2 to try to like get that guy off, like can even play for f4 and e5 later. Like, it's just completely one-way play. The knight on c5 is stuck and can't move because of the c6 pawn. The bishop on b7 is lousy. Like, it's a horrible position.
Actually, that plan that you mentioned now is interesting after d6. Bishop c1 with the idea of a3 and b4, and the bishop comes.
Oh, I don't even know about a3, b4. Just go bishop c1, bishop b2, and start from there. Let's
and start from there, yeah.
And like, black just has no counterplay at all for the rest of the game.
Great to hear this. Okay, any questions, guys? All right, no questions. Let's move on.
Yeah. This one, I thought we should put the rook on d4.
And that's correct. Rook d4. And if queen a3,
Then we go rook g4. This was the big point. Queen d6, and I can avoid the exchange of queens.
something like queen h5 maybe.
No, then you lose the knight, but you can go queen back to b2,
Oh.
and he cannot take on g5. Or cannot take on d5. Basically, this one I said was comparison. So, like, if you think about this position without queens, probably black is better. Like, I don't really see why anything to worry about. It just feels like with his king like this, we want to be, like, lasering down on g7 as hard as we can and trying to give mate. And if we don't play rook d4 and rook g4, I think these are two very important moves. If we don't play them, then black will be able to trade queens. Like, I don't know, for example, if he plays rook d2, and then I go queen takes a3, it cannot stop queen d6, and I think that will keep black alive.
Yeah, and knight f6, there is no magic or anything. No, it's just nothing.
No, that's not working. There's queen c1, and then
yeah, there is queen c1.
Yeah.
So rook d4 and rook g4 attacking on g7. So here after queen a3 and rook d4 and queen d6, queen b2, can black even defend this?
I didn't see a great move for him. I mean, next up is probably knight f4. Or she is saying we can play queen d5, rook g7, and knight d4, but I think everything should win here. Probably the easiest is going to be rook 7, g4.
Yeah, the knight is pinned. Yeah.
And queen b3, queen a1, and gone.
Very nice. So 6 out of 6 in the last page.
Yeah, this I thought was quite an easy page actually. The first two pages at least had one problem that was a bit tougher.
Well, guys, any questions for Sam? Now that we have him here.
Yeah, I guess I have a little bit of time before I need to.
No, we're going to let you go in immediately. The class is over. We'll look at all the exercises. Thank you, Sam, for your insights.
Any questions or anything, guys? You love my Berlin course on Chessable. I appreciate that. You should check out the calculation workbook that just came out. I get a lot of mean comments about my Chessable courses, so I really appreciate when people have positive things to say. Seriously, you wouldn't imagine how many mean comments I get. It's not nice. It's too much cyberbullying.
I have a hard time believing, but okay. Guys, thank you so much.
I had a guy like write, "Oh my God, it's horrible that Sam doesn't respond to like these comments asking for updates when it's some totally obscure line that nobody has played. I called the position equal, and then they say, what about this move where black has 4 moves afterwards that are equalized? I'm like, just play one, play chess." Like,
anyway, thank you, Sam.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Hope to be back for killer chess training sometime soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, I'm saying goodbye, and I hope you enjoyed this class. The homework, as usual, will be uploaded, and I'll see you again next week. Thank you so much, and have a good week. I think I'll see you tomorrow. I have tactical targets tomorrow night. Bye-bye.